I think Meghan is an absolute nightmare of a woman, and I do have my suspicions that he ended up with her out of, some sort of trauma response to the...
And like me, who get tired of helping people and watch them dog you out.
The signs were hiding in plain sight, and we saw them before anyone else did. While the mainstream media painted Meghan and Tyler Perry as the perfect Hollywood fairy godfather story, we knew something felt off about their relationship. Now Tyler Perry has completely cut ties after that explosive $260 million lawsuit. And Meghan's deafening silence about her daughter's own godfather is raising questions that go far deeper than anyone imagined. But here's what's really disturbing. Jessica Mulroney just broke her silence after years of loyal friendship. And what she's revealing about Meghan's true character will make you question everything you thought you knew about their inner circle. We called it from day one when Meghan suddenly ghosted Jessica Mulroney after 20 years of friendship, and now we're finally getting the full story of just how calculated and cruel that betrayal really was. Jessica wasn't just some random celebrity friend who got dropped for optics. She was the woman who literally styled Meghan's entire royal transformation, planned her wedding down to the last detail, and had her daughter Ivy serve as a bridesmaid alongside Princess Charlotte. The level of intimacy in their friendship makes Meghan's abandonment even more shocking. Jessica had been Meghan's closest confidant through every major life event, from her divorce from Trevor Engelson to navigating the complexities of royal protocol. She was the one person Meghan trusted with her most vulnerable moments, the woman who knew all her secrets, her insecurities, and her true feelings about the royal family.
Whatever happened to Jessica Mulroney, the one-time best friend of Meghan Markle, whose children were given prominent roles in the royal wedding?
But when Jessica faced her own crisis in June 2020, after that Instagram controversy with lifestyle blogger Sasha Exeter, Meghan didn't just fail to support her friend, she actively participated in destroying her. Instead of standing by the woman who had sacrificed her own reputation to defend Meghan countless times, Meghan's team made it clear that Jessica was now a liability who needed to be eliminated from the narrative. The professional devastation that followed was swift and brutal. Jessica lost her television shows, including I Do, Redo on CTV, and her contributor role on Good Morning America. Brand partnerships evaporated overnight, and her highly anticipated reality show about planning celebrity weddings was canceled before filming even began. The woman who had built her entire career on her connection to Meghan watched it all disappear because Meghan refused to show even basic human loyalty. What makes this betrayal particularly cruel is how Jessica maintained her dignity throughout the entire ordeal. She never once publicly criticized Meghan, never revealed the private conversations or intimate details she could have used to defend herself, even when her career was being destroyed and her family was facing financial hardship. Jessica stayed silent out of respect for their friendship.
Apparently, Meghan at the time was looking for any reason to get rid of her friend, and you can't help but wonder, why? How did this relationship sour so quickly?
The most telling part of Jessica's recent comments isn't what she said about Meghan, it's what she didn't say. Her careful words about learning who your real friends are and discovering people's true character during difficult times speak volumes about the pain of being abandoned by someone she considered family. Jessica's grace under pressure only makes Meghan's calculated cruelty look even more heartless by comparison. Recently, Tyler Perry's world came crashing down when actor Derek Dixon filed what might be the most explosive lawsuit in Hollywood history, and the timing couldn't be worse for his relationship with Harry and Meghan. This isn't just another celebrity legal battle, this is a $260 million nuclear bomb that threatens to destroy everything Perry has built over decades of grinding his way to the top of the entertainment industry. Derek Dixon's allegations read like a horror story of systematic exploitation disguised as career mentorship. The actor claims Perry subjected him to escalating SHA and battery starting in 2020, just months after Dixon was cast in Perry's BET series Ruthless. What makes these allegations particularly damaging is how they allegedly followed a pattern of Perry using his massive power and influence to manipulate vulnerable actors desperate for their big break. The timeline is devastating for Perry's reputation. Dixon says he first met Perry in 2019 at a networking event where the mogul allegedly showed immediate interest in both his professional potential and personal life. After landing a role on Ruthless, Dixon claims Perry began making increasingly inappropriate advances, using promises of career advancement to justify behavior that crossed every professional boundary imaginable. But here's where the story gets even more explosive. Dixon alleges that Perry's inappropriate behavior escalated during private meetings at Perry's Atlanta compound, the same sprawling estate where Harry and Meghan stayed during their most vulnerable period after leaving royal life. The idea that this alleged predatory behavior was happening in the same location where Meghan's children were playing and sleeping adds a deeply disturbing layer to the entire situation. Perry's legal team has come out swinging, calling the lawsuit a scam and describing Dixon's claims as fabricated attempts to extort money from a successful black entrepreneur. They've painted Dixon as an opportunistic actor whose career failed to take off despite Perry's genuine mentorship, leading him to manufacture these explosive allegations as a get-rich-quick scheme.
The text messages themselves are enough to kind of change your opinion about Tyler Perry, and that's unfortunate for him and his brand.
The financial stakes couldn't be higher. Dixon isn't just seeking monetary damages, he's demanding $260 million, a figure that represents a significant portion of Perry's estimated net worth. If even a fraction of these allegations are proven true, it could bankrupt Perry's entertainment empire and destroy the carefully cultivated image he spent decades building. What's particularly telling is how this lawsuit has exposed the culture of fear and silence that allegedly surrounded Perry's productions. Multiple industry insiders are now coming forward with stories about Perry's controlling behavior on set, his explosive temper, and his tendency to make or break careers based on personal loyalty rather than professional merit. The impact on Perry's other projects has been immediate and devastating. Several major studios are reportedly reassessing their partnerships with Perry's production company, while streaming platforms are quietly distancing themselves from future collaborations. The man who was once considered untouchable in Hollywood is now facing the possibility that his entire empire could crumble under the weight of these allegations. For Harry and Meghan, Perry's legal troubles couldn't have come at a worse time, just as their own financial pressures are mounting and their Hollywood connections are proving less reliable than they hoped. The most damning evidence of Harry and Meghan's true character isn't what they're saying about Tyler Perry's crisis. It's their calculated decision to say absolutely nothing at all. Royal expert Hillary Fordwich didn't mince words when she called their silence a total lack of moral courage. And she's absolutely right. This isn't just poor friendship. This is strategic cowardice that exposes everything wrong with their approach to loyalty and relationships. Think about the impossible position they've created for themselves through their own hypocrisy. If Tyler Perry is cleared of these allegations, their silence makes them look like disloyal friends who abandoned someone during their darkest hour. But if the allegations prove true, their silence makes them look like opportunistic users who only cared about Perry when he was useful to them. Either way, they lose, and they've created this lose-lose situation entirely through their own calculated self-interest.
Did I expect Harry and Meghan to come to his defense? He provided the freedom flight. He's the godfather to Lily. Did I expect them to come to his defense? I really don't.
What makes their silence even more shocking is the personal connection involved here. Tyler Perry isn't just some Hollywood acquaintance they met at a few parties. This is Lilibet's godfather, the man who opened his home and his heart to them when they were at their most vulnerable. The fact that they can't even muster a basic statement of support or concern reveals a level of coldness that's genuinely disturbing. The contrast with their previous public stances is absolutely staggering. These are the same people who built their entire post-royal brand on speaking truth to power and believing victims. Meghan has given countless speeches about the importance of supporting those who are marginalized and attacked. Harry has positioned himself as a champion of mental health awareness and standing up for what's right, regardless of the personal cost. But when their actual friend faces the biggest crisis of his life, suddenly all those principles evaporate into convenient silence. Where's the passionate defense of someone who showed them unconditional kindness? Where's the statement about due process and supporting people through difficult times? Where's even the most basic acknowledgement that someone they claim to care about is going through hell? Their silence becomes even more calculated when you realize they're probably waiting to see which way the legal battle goes before deciding whether to support Perry or distance themselves further. This isn't principled restraint. This is strategic positioning that treats human relationships like stock investments. They're literally waiting to see if Tyler Perry is a good bet before deciding whether their friendship is worth maintaining. The moral bankruptcy of this approach is breathtaking, and it perfectly encapsulates everything people suspected about their character from the beginning. The relationship between Tyler Perry and Meghan Markle has officially hit rock bottom, and the behind-the-scenes details reveal just how calculated and cold this breakup really was. Sources close to Perry's inner circle reveal that the final tipping point came when Meghan had the audacity to request use of his private jet again, apparently believing their relationship could continue on her terms despite everything that had happened.
I would appreciate any backup at this point. Harry and Meghan's silence looks completely self-serving, and they could be jeopardizing their relationship with the mogul going forward.
Perry's flat refusal wasn't just about logistics. It was a deliberate message that he was done being used as Meghan's personal ATM and transportation service. The billionaire mogul who once opened his Beverly Hills mansion to the Sussexes during their most vulnerable period has now completely severed ties, recognizing that their relationship was never about genuine friendship but pure exploitation.
And like me, who get tired of helping people and watch them dog you out.
But the private jet rejection was just the final straw in a series of betrayals that had been building for months. Industry insiders reveal that Perry was absolutely furious when he discovered that intimate footage filmed inside his own home had appeared in the Sussex Netflix documentary without his explicit permission. This wasn't just a breach of privacy, it was a violation of trust that broke the final bond between them. Perry's legal team immediately swung into action, sending cease and desist letters warning Harry and Meghan that any further unauthorized use of private content would result in immediate legal consequences. The message was crystal clear. The days of using Tyler Perry's generosity without consequences were officially over. The ripple effects of Perry's withdrawal are being felt throughout Hollywood, where his departure has emboldened other celebrities and executives who had been cautiously maintaining ties with the Sussexes. Several major players have now started publicly distancing themselves, creating a domino effect that's systematically dismantling Meghan's carefully cultivated network. One Hollywood insider perfectly captured the situation. Perry's departure sent shockwaves through the industry. He's a kingmaker in this town, and losing him isn't just unfortunate, it's a death sentence. When Tyler Perry walks away from you, it signals to everyone else that you're toxic and not worth the risk. The timing couldn't be worse for Netflix, whose executives are already nervous about their Sussex partnership. The streaming giant had been counting on Perry's continued support to help legitimize their investment in Harry and Meghan's content. Now they're facing the reality that their biggest Hollywood ally has completely abandoned ship, leaving them exposed and questioning whether the Sussex brand is worth the continued investment.
CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos, along with the many executives over there, they are in constant, of course, panic mode over this actual part 2 of season 1 is what I like to call it, because let's face it, that's exactly what it really is.
What makes Perry's withdrawal even more devastating is how it exposes the fundamentally transactional nature of all of Meghan's relationships. The pattern is now undeniable. She uses people for their connections, resources, and influence, then discards them the moment they become inconvenient or demand reciprocal loyalty. Perry's departure represents more than just the loss of a powerful ally. It's the collapse of Harry and Meghan's entire Hollywood strategy. The man who was supposed to be their bridge into the entertainment elite has become their most damaging defection, sending a clear message to the industry that the Sussex brand is radioactive. For a couple whose entire post-royal career depends on maintaining influential relationships, Tyler Perry's complete withdrawal isn't just a personal betrayal, it's a professional catastrophe that threatens everything they've tried to build. Our instincts about Harry and Meghan's calculated selfishness have been proven absolutely right, and fans across social media are expressing exactly what you've been thinking all along. The one-sided nature of their relationship with Tyler Perry is so obvious that even casual observers can see how they've exploited his generosity without giving anything meaningful in return. We've watched this pattern play out repeatedly, where Meghan and Harry extract maximum value from their relationships while offering nothing but association with their increasingly toxic brand. Tyler Perry gained absolutely nothing from defending them or appearing in their Netflix content, yet he risked his own reputation by inserting himself into their royal drama when he could have easily stayed neutral. The entertainment industry's support system that you've observed in action with figures like O.J. Simpson and Martha Stewart shows exactly why Harry and Meghan's silence is so damaging. Their refusal to reciprocate Perry's loyalty when he needs it most reveals the purely transactional nature of all their relationships, validating everything we suspected about their character from the beginning. The Tyler Perry situation has triggered something far more devastating than just losing one powerful ally. It's created a complete Hollywood reputation collapse that's systematically destroying every connection Harry and Meghan spent years trying to build. Industry executives who once rolled out red carpets for the royal couple are now treating them like radioactive material that could contaminate their own projects and reputations. Netflix executives are reportedly in full panic mode, not just about their existing Sussex deal, but about how the Perry fallout affects their entire streaming strategy. Sources within the company reveal that the Tyler Perry situation has become a nightmare scenario because it exposes fundamental flaws in their celebrity partnership model. When your biggest Hollywood validator publicly abandons your talent, it sends a clear message to the entire industry about their actual worth.
We noticed that they weren't saying anything if we weren't hearing from Meghan daily about something, primarily something that has to do with, as ever, primarily something promotional, her trying to sell us something.
The domino effect has been swift and brutal. HBO Max quietly canceled preliminary discussions about a potential Sussex documentary project, with executives citing brand alignment concerns as their official reason. Amazon Studios, which had been exploring a possible podcast partnership, has completely severed all communication with Archewell Productions. Even Disney, which once seemed interested in Meghan's voice work, has mysteriously gone silent on all future collaborations. What's particularly damaging is how other celebrities are now treating Harry and Meghan like social pariahs. The couple, who once received invitations to every major Hollywood event, are finding their social calendar increasingly empty. A-list parties that would have automatically included them on the guest list are now conspicuously excluding them, with hosts reportedly concerned that association with the Sussexes could damage their own relationships with more valuable industry players. The most telling indicator of their reputation collapse is how talent agencies are responding. CAA, one of Hollywood's most powerful agencies, has reportedly advised several of their high-profile clients to avoid any professional association with Harry and Meghan. When talent agencies start actively steering their biggest stars away from you, it's not just a career setback, it's professional death. Industry insiders describe a whisper campaign that's systematically destroyed any remaining goodwill toward the couple. The Tyler Perry situation didn't create this hostility. It simply gave Hollywood the perfect excuse to openly express what they'd been thinking privately for months. One executive perfectly captured the sentiment. Tyler Perry's departure was like the Emperor's new clothes moment. Suddenly, everyone felt free to admit that the Sussexes bring nothing but drama and liability to every project they touch. The couple's desperation is becoming increasingly obvious as they scramble to rebuild relationships that may already be permanently damaged. What Meghan did to Jessica was cold and calculated. She abandoned a 20-year friendship the moment Jessica became a liability. Jessica had been Meghan's stylist, wedding planner, closest confidant, and had her daughter serve as a bridesmaid in the royal wedding. But when Jessica faced her own crisis in 2020, Meghan didn't just fail to support her, she actively participated in destroying her career by making it clear Jessica was now toxic to the Sussex brand. The cherry on top is that Tyler Perry isn't wrong for cutting ties. Unlike Jessica, who was abandoned for something relatively minor, Perry is facing a $260 million lawsuit with serious allegations. Meghan's silence and strategic distancing during his crisis proves she was never a genuine friend, just someone using him for his resources and influence.